So let's look at mousemove events. So we already have the buttons. Let's go ahead and change this to add mouse events instead of click events. So add mouse events. And then the events that detect mouse motion include mouse move, mouseenter, mouseleave, mouseover, and I think mouseout. So let's go ahead and save that and reload. So if I enter that box, I got a bunch of stuff. So let's go ahead and get rid of these mouse move events because basically lots of them, too many to deal with. But let's look at one of them first just to make sure. So it has all of the same stuff that we saw with clicks. It's got the client X and the page X and the screen X, and also has whether control key is pressed or alt key. All of that same stuff gets sent every time the mouse moves inside of the div. So you'll notice that I don't get anything when I move here. It's only when the cursor is actually inside the box that I get those events. So now that we know what mouse move does, I can get rid of it so we can see what's going on a little better. So as I enter the box, I get a mouse over and a mouse enter. And they're pretty much the same except for event propagation. So when you enter, you're actually possibly entering more than one thing at the same time because these HTML elements, they stack. You have a div inside of another div, and an anchor inside of a div inside of another div, and a paragraph, anchor inside of a paragraph inside of a div inside of another div, and so on. So they're all nested, and so it's possible to enter multiple elements all at the same time. And mouseenter gets sent to all of those elements. On the other hand, mouseover is going to get sent to the innermost element, and then it will bubble up unless you stop it from bubbling. For example, if you want to handle a mouseenter event on an inner box without letting that mouse event get propagated to the other nodes that contain it, you can use mouseover to do that. If you're using mouseenter, they're all going to get that event pretty much at the same time. So once again, with all of these events, you're going to get the client X and client Y and all the other things that we saw when we looked at clicks. And you're going to get those things for both the mouse over and the mouse enter. Now, on the other side, when you leave, you get mouse out, which matches mouse over. So that's going to get sent to the lowest level innermost element that you're leaving, and it's going to bubble up unless you prevent it from bubbling. You'll also get a mouseleave, which is just like mouseenter. So mouseenter gets sent to all the containing div boxes, or all the containing HTML elements. Mouseleave also gets sent to all the containing HTML elements. So you can use these pretty easily for rollover effects, which you'd use on a hover event in CSS. You can also use mouseover and mouseout to do the same kind of thing. So let's go ahead and look at an example of that. So I'm going to box.addEventListener mouse over. I'm going to set the box.style.color to be yellow. And actually probably just like this. So when I enter the box, I'm going to set the color to yellow, and when I leave the box, I'm going to set it back to white. That actually should be black. And I want the background color here, I think, too. So box.style background color. Let's make that yellow text on a black background. And then when you're out, it's going to be black text on a white background. Right. So just like you'd do in CSS with a hover. But since this is arbitrary code, you can do all sorts of things. You can add div elements or modify the DOM, basically whatever you want.